Hi, Jaki Sabourin here. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here today. So excited to continue the Swipe Right online dating video series, helping you get really comfortable with the online platform so that you can stop, alienating men that otherwise might be a good fit for you. And that happens sometimes because we have our blind spots, or we're too picky, or we haven't really learned how to skill up in dating. Whatever the case is, there's a lot of mistakes that you can make unintentionally or subconsciously that could throw you into a spin, which would make things take a lot longer than they need to. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that women have, is that it's taking a lot longer than it really needs to because of all the mistakes that we make, that I made along the way when I was dating. And so what I wanted to do on this call is share a little bit about some of my clients' success stories, and then share a little bit about some of my own dating disasters, just to kind of give you a little perspective. And so that you can see that I've struggled just as much as all of you might be struggling. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Becca. Welcome, ladies on YouTube. Welcome. I didn't actually type in welcome, so I'm going to put that in there now. So thanks for being here. So, the women that come and work with me in my programs are women just like you and me, women that when they started to go a little deeper and examine, they discovered that they had some feelings of, not feeling worthy, a little unworthiness. And how this shows up is one of my clients who got engaged and married in 6 months last year. And I know that sounds really fast, but it really just depends on the person. Especially when we get older, we're more clear on what we want. We trust ourselves more, and so we can make more empowered decisions much sooner than maybe when we're younger, or it needs to take longer. So it really depends on what your emotional blocks are and how close you are to trusting yourself enough to make those quick decisions. One of my clients who got engaged last February, she met him in January, got engaged in February, in a month. I know it seems really rushed. And then they got married in September. And you can look at all my reviews on my YouTube channel. You can go to jakisabourin.com and look at the testimonials there that I'm going to be talking with you about. But one of the things why I like to talk about this particular client is because she got engaged after 30 days. And so the man that she was dating was just completely smitten. He was 100% clear that she was the woman for him. And he told her, and you've heard this before, that men know. They do. They know really quickly whether or not they see you as a fit. So he was very, very sure. So sure that he told her. And so she went into a lot of fear. And what came up for her, because you think that'd be every woman's dream, or maybe that would cause a lot of fear in you, definitely would inspire a little fear of commitment. But what happened was she started to feel unworthy. And so she started to feel like, I see your high style. I see your question there. I'm going to get to you next. So she started to feel really unworthy. And even though she really resonated with him, she liked him a lot, was attracted to him, she was so afraid of such a fast timeline. But I said, just take it one day at a time, and just explore what he's offering. I mean, explore it. You can always say no. So they started dating seriously, like went straight into an exclusive relationship, not physical, just getting to know each other. And then he had all the qualities that she wanted, and she had all the qualities that he wanted, and they had a similar background, and everything was just so perfectly in alignment. I really encouraged her to accept the engagement and spend that time, getting to know each other. So over that 6-month period, they're married now. They got married last September, but she had to deal with feelings of worthiness. She felt that she didn't deserve, on so many levels, all that her fiance was offering her. And I think that can sometimes happen to us. We want so much, and then we get presented with it, but then we aren't able to accept it because we block it, because we have feelings of not good enough, not worthy. And so a lot of this is very common when you start to go into the dating process. You get confronted with, it's never going to happen. Your worst fears actually come to the surface, and they can sabotage you. And that's why women work with me in my program, because I know that that's going to happen. But it doesn't prevent them from getting into committed relationships. And so I had another woman who, because working with me, we had been working on her communication skills socially. She was really afraid to talk to men. She didn't really want to put herself out there. And so I started coaching her and working with her just to say a simple phrase. And this is going to help you so you can write this down. Just a simple phrase, how's your day going? So I made her say that to everybody that she ran into for like 5 months. And so then she went on this big trip to Australia, right? And so she goes away for a month and she's gone and she's in my program. And I knew that she'd be traveling. I'm like, don't forget to say, how's your day going in the airport, wherever you are, in restaurants. And so she was on her way home, standing in the baggage claim line where you check your bag, in that different line. And she turned around to the man behind her and she said, so how's your day going? How's your trip going so far? And he said, great. He started to talk to her. They had a layover. They spent the layover in the lounge. Long story short, she moved to Australia. She stayed another night. They ended up going on a nice date. She flew back to the States. They ended up dating and they both wanted the same thing. He came out to the States and spent 6 weeks with her. They ended up fast tracking their relationship. So this can really happen. It really can happen. You can get into a healthy relationship in a very quick amount of time, but you need the support, structure, and that perspective that I can bring you so that you don't make those common mistakes, which are feeling like you don't deserve it, or all your emotional, painful experiences start to surface and you start to sabotage it. Like, this is too soon. I'm not good enough. And so she really embraced the work, the process. She is now living in Australia, happily settled down with her soulmate that she met in line. So these things really do happen to people. Now, she was online dating, practicing her online dating skills. And if it wasn't for the time that she was online, she would not have turned around and had the confidence to say to a complete stranger, because she was very shy and she hadn't dated in 10 years and she'd been married 3 times. So there was a lot of fear for her, right? That this could even happen for her. She was in her 60s. If it could happen again, if she was even worthy to, she felt like she'd already had 3 relationships. How can she have another? So she was confronted with some serious obstacles, but she overcame them. Because love will find you. If that's what you're looking for, it will find you, but you need the basic skill set. Had another client, super successful woman. She has a multi-million-dollar business, a business coach. In fact, I originally found her and worked with her and collaborated with her in my business. And when we were working together, she confided in me that she was struggling in her love life, that she'd never been married. She's over 50 and she really wanted to find a good guy. So I started working with her. She just got engaged. And you've seen the post on the internet, Heather Pitkin. She is such a wonderful woman, but she was just making the common online dating mistakes that so many women make, that were keeping her in a perpetual, a roller coaster of online dating. And once she started working with me in my program, boom, her fiance fell into her lap, and they've taken their time on their own timeline to spend a couple of years getting to know each other, and they just announced their engagement. So I have another woman that I think that you're really going to resonate with this story. And I'm not sharing the names with everyone because they want their privacy protected, but she was in her 40s. 42, and she really wanted to have a baby, and her boyfriend did not want to have a child, and he didn't want to move forward. So I was working with her and helping her to release her attachment to him, because having a child was so important to her. She didn't want to miss out on being a mother. So we started working together, and within 6 months, she was able to release her attachment to him. They'd been together for years, and move on, and she started dating successfully. But guess what happened? He came back in the picture because she had shifted. She had become so empowered, and he knew that she was online dating. So he went back in, proposed, scooped her up. And now I didn't hear this until like a year later, but she sent me a picture of her and her husband and her baby. And she had a baby at 42 years old. I'm so happy for her. I could cry. So it like turned her whole life around. Getting the support, getting the structure and accountability really does make a difference, because information does not mean transformation. You can get a lot of information on all those YouTube videos that I do, and I want you to have that. But if you want to have a transformation, you need the perspective of somebody else that's looking over your shoulder, that's seeing things through a different lens, so that they can give you that perspective and push you forward and help you step out of your comfort zone that feels so scary, especially when you've been hurt, or you've lost somebody you love, or you've been through a divorce. Those are landmines filled with painful experiences. They're definitely going to surface as soon as you put your toe in online dating. And so it's really important to not discount the value of investing in yourself has, because that's what I do. I'm constantly investing in myself, in coaches. I have a wonderful coach. I have wonderful people that are working with me, helping me to help my clients succeed. It's a team effort, okay? And that's what you need. You need a team to help you to create a wonderful testimonial that I can share on my channel here with you, with all of you, to inspire you. I have 2 clients on my last group call last week that just announced that they're in exclusive relationships. The first 6 months, one of my clients spent working through her emotional blocks, her fears about getting into a relationship. She was overgiving and friend zoning. And then she was working in the program. She shifted everything. And then she went into dating. She's like, I love dating. It's so much fun. And of course, as soon as she said that, she met the one. And why I'm saying the one, it's because he told her, you're the one. You're the one for me. And as soon as he said that, it was like music to her ears, right? Usually that's a woman, but he said, you're the one for me. And so now the next 6 months are going to be all about me supporting her, having conscious discussions, maybe courageous discussions about getting into a committed relationship and how to navigate that. So the end result is the marriage that she truly longs for, instead of getting into a relationship that doesn't go anywhere just because he said he's the one. She has the structure and support to make sure that she sees that through and gets to the altar, because that's what we want. That's what she wants. And I support her with what she wants. And so let me take a question over here on YouTube. So she wants to know, she's 29, her boyfriend's 30, and she wants to know how to get her boyfriend to propose after living together for 10 years. So that's a really good question. Should I leave and should I stay? And so, I'm just good for you. You've been really hanging in there for the last 10 years. And I guess I would ask you is, how has your relationship been for 10 years? So I would definitely set up an appointment with him to have a courageous conversation, is what I call it, so that you can communicate in a very soft and loving, kind way your position. And what that could sound like is that, and I don't know if this is true for you, but I'm going to give you a bit of a script to help you out. So it could sound like I've just wanted to share with you how much I've loved spending the last decade of my life with you. I mean, this has been the best 10 years of my life, and I thank you for that. And then you can maybe applaud him for a couple of things he's done, especially love our home or the trips we went on and everything that we share. And because I'm so happy with you, I really, really want to share something that's really important with you. And I know we talked about this before, because you probably have. And so you can say, I know we talked about this before, but it's really my heart's desire that we have a marriage, that we have an engagement and a marriage. It's just something I've longed for so long. And I really want to see that come to fruition. So where are you right now on that? So I would put him on the spot and ask him, how do you feel about that, having that wedding that I really long for? 'Cause that's what would make me so happy, is knowing that I'm your wife. So you need to then be quiet and don't say anything else, and let him talk, so he will really share with you what is holding him back. Because if you don't listen to him, you won't know. And so you're not going to get him to propose, but you're going to inspire him to open up and share with you where he's at emotionally, and what if he's holding back, if you could ask him why. The only way he's going to open up and share that with you, if you come from a place of love and not fear. So in other words, if you come from a place of fear, like afraid that he's going to break up with you, if you put this on the table so clearly, then you need to work through that, because nobody wants to make a fear-based decision. That's what an ultimatum feels like. So you're not coming to him from fear-based. You're coming to him from your heart in your hand, like, sweetheart, I love you. I'm so happy with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. We've been together for 10 years. It's really important to me that I have this marriage, because I want to be your wife and I want you to be my husband. And how do you feel about that? I know we talked about it in the past, but I'd like to have this conversation again, because it is so important to me, because it's going to really make me happy. And then you stop talking. You see I'm smiling? You keep smiling, you stop talking. And then you give him a chance to share his concerns or his objections, and then listen to them with an open heart. And then after whatever he shares, you let him know that, thank you for sharing with me. everything that you shared with me. So you don't react. You just respond by thanking him. And if it's not what you want to hear, say, I need to think about what you've shared and spend some time processing what we've talked about. But I really appreciate your honesty and thank you. I really needed to have this conversation today. So that's where I would leave it. If he says things like, I'm not ready, then you need to tell him that you need to think about things and process what your next steps are. And why you do that is because you want to give him a chance to think about what you might do, which is you might leave. And you might, maybe you'll stay. That's the only decision you're going to have to make based on if you want to give this man more time knowing that he won't commit to you. And from that place, you'll be in a better place to make a decision for yourself. But I would have one more conscious conversation with him about his position. Since you've been in a relationship for so long, you can go directly to let's set an appointment to have that conversation. So make sure you set an appointment that's respectful. Say what you want to say, but then stop talking and listen to everything he says and then thank him for the time and then spend time processing what that means for you. And so I hope that helps you. I really hope that helps you. If you stick to the rules of communication by not interrupting him and not reacting and thanking him, I think you're going to have a good conversation. And then let me know how it goes. I hope that's helpful for you. Thank you, Tamara. She said, Jackie has the best advice. It works. Now I have a boyfriend with the same values. Woo! Congratulations. This is news to me, Tamara. We're going to have to hear about that on our call tonight. That is so exciting. Hi, Noelle. Hi, ladies. Do we have another? I'll do one more question. I think you don't live with him. He will propose if you don't live with him. So there's some comments in the comment box. So yeah, that's not always the easiest thing to get a man to commit once he's been living with you. And in reflection, you might have had the best 10 years with him. So maybe this will be a good thing for you to move on, but only you know that. And without having a longer conversation with you, I don't want to steer you in any direction, but just go ahead and try to have that conversation. And so I'm just looking to see if there's another question I can answer. I think that divorce financially ruins at least many women. Well, I think that there's a chat going on that I'm not going to get involved with because it's out of context for this call. And so, ladies, I just want to inspire you that you may not hear of it, but women get into healthy relationships every single day. And the thing that comes up for some women is envy. And I was talking to a woman today on the phone about that. And so I want to just encourage you, if you feel envy, then that's actually a good thing, because envy is a feeling. The energy behind envy is a motivation to change, the motivation to do the things that you need to do so that you get a different result. Whereas jealousy is on the other spectrum, and that is coming from a victim mentality that pretty much says, I can't do it. I can't have or deserve what she has. And she's better than me, or she does this, or she's skinnier or richer or thinner. But those are all just excuses that your victim mentality is telling you, and that you can know that by if you're jealous. But if you're envious, which is a normal human emotion, it just means you really want what that person has. And that's a more empowered feeling than jealousy. So go ahead and give yourself permission to feel envious for a few minutes. That's the motivation that you need to change your behavior so you can have what you want. That means you need to get on my training call and definitely take my swiperightquiz.com that I've been putting out. If you haven't taken it, please go over to swiperightquiz.com right now. That's going to give you a little result really quick to see where you're making some mistakes in online dating that might be sabotaging you and attracting your dream man. And it also is going to give me valuable information that I need so that I can help make the training that I'm doing on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. It's going to help me to know exactly where I really need to hone in on so that I can be really effective in that training. You get some result and take away something from that training that you can apply right away and see a big difference in your online dating and how you're showing up. And so please go to swiperight.com. swiperightquiz.com. Take the quiz so that we can help each other. And then show up for my training on Wednesday, the 22nd, this coming Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Once you take the quiz, you'll get an invitation to the training. Okay, ladies? And so I'm going to take one more question. Went on a date for the first time in about 6 months. Think he's a player. Funny, but probably not what I'm looking for. Good for you, Maureen, for getting out there. I'm so proud of you. Dating after 6 months can be challenging because it's a little scary because we think we forget, what to do. But, the hardest part sometimes is just getting on the dates and getting through that fear. And that's where I can support you, is just to set you up with a strategy so that you don't encounter all of those mistakes that you can make that can really cause a lot of discouragement and disappointment, which is a really heavy energy. And men have a high radar. They can pick that up. And that energy of discouragement and disappointment really comes from attaching to outcomes. So you go out with a man and you're like, he's the one, and you get so excited, and then he doesn't call you back, and then you're so discouraged. So working in not attaching to outcomes is really a critical piece in being successful at online dating. So you have to stay in your own lane, and I'm going to cover all that in the training. So in closing, ladies, thank you for your questions. I'm going to go ahead and follow up and answer them in the chat boxes after this call, and make sure you take that swiperightquiz.com and be on the training on Wednesday. Okay, ladies, I have another call tomorrow at 4 o'clock Pacific that's designed just for Q&A. I'm not going to talk about a particular topic. I'm just going to answer your question. So make sure you're here, because I know you have a lot of questions are all coming on. What your advice about putting my profile on dating website as private? That's a good question. I'll answer it in the chat box. You come back to YouTube and look in the comments, and I will answer that question there, okay? Thank you again for being here. I always appreciate all of you showing up. And I know if you stay the course, you will end up having everything you want. And especially if you get into one of my programs, you're definitely going to see a more fast-track approach to the dating process, because I streamline it for you. Okay, ladies, love you. Have a wonderful evening. Talk to you tomorrow.